how do you see the budget that was just announced by the government?
Yeah, from our perspective, if I look at DBS Bank, we are intending to open our branch in Gift City, and looking at the various, concession as well as additional, additional incentives which have been given. I think for us it will be quite positive.
And coming to your line of work, banking is where numbers make a lot of import. It plays a huge role. And coming to data-driven science, we have come a long way from just looking at balance sheet to now, having tools at our aid which help you take more informed decisions. So how are you utilizing that? And can you give us a peek of or some anecdote where this kind of data-driven science has helped you a lot?
Yeah, so two things. One is, from a banking perspective, we always, have maintained that, what will be more important for the customer will be banking. Okay, bank will become, more or less non-existent. So what we mean is that, the underlying transaction will definitely become more and more straight through. If you look at, from a bank perspective, most of the rate what can be charged to the customer is more or less externally driven. What is within the bank will be the cost. And for that cost, what is more important is how do you become more data driven as well as how you become more STP. So that becomes very, very important. And, if you look at our bank, etc., most of our underwriting, etc., is straight through, and therefore from that perspective, we ensure that we are making use of data what is available in our domain as well as what is available in the customer domain for automating all the underwriting, etc., etc., and that helps us to be very fast in terms of our own TAT, etc., so for us, data driven is something which is in our DNA, and we continue to leverage on that.
Lastly, what are the challenges that come with when you use such advanced tools? For someone we always hear about the benefits, but could you talk about the challenges if someone does not know how to use this data properly? What kind of challenges do they face?
Yeah, so two things. One is we should be very, very clear about what the outcome comes from the machine. We need to have a sense of whether that is making, because ultimately the result will be based on what the input goes into the system. So obviously what is more important for us is how you have the eyeball check as well as understanding of the numbers, and if at any point in time things are not going correct or it's sorry, we should be in a position to identify that. So it's so from our perspective what is more important is while things are all automated, etc., a human element is also is very much needed in some of the things to at least see whether the output which is coming is making sense or not.
So if I have to take a quick takeaway from this, is human factor will still remain despite all these advances to be to keep the honesty check, or the data itself cannot make sense.
Yeah,
there
exactly.
will there will
Exactly. Like for example, when we were doing underwriting for one of the customer, we realized that there were numerous checks which got presented on a national holiday. Now, obviously, this machine may not be able to make out some of these things. And now, obviously, there are more intelligent which is being built. But when such incidents happen, you should be in a position to at least say that something seems to be this thing. And then finally, we identified that that statement was a fake statement. But when you have to have this intelligent way of doing things, it is also very, very important that some of these algorithms are updated on a frequent basis based on your own early warnings, etc., etc.